Hi, I Chandrasekhar Tilak welcome you all for this episode of Market. Certainly, we have to say market because the way in which the Sensex is showing the dizzy heights as far as the Sensex and Nifty are concerned, certainly one has to think and think aloud. And that's what exactly is the intention as far as this episode of our weekly feature Market is concerned. Certainly, the last week when it ended, as far as its trading is concerned, the Sensex was at the level of 48,782 and Nifty was 14,000 plus minus. Although we can agree and say, or although we can argue and say, that generally the Sensex shows the dizzy heights once the announcement of the budget dates are made. Until the time the budget is actually presented to our country, the market does show both the positive as well as the negative side as far as the Sensex movements are concerned. And let us hope this particular pattern would also get repeated or continue as far as the current year or the month of January 2021 is concerned. But before that, one has to take a note that as far as the trading volumes associated with our market are concerned, they are not at the same level or a comparable level as far as the earlier years are concerned. Certainly, the trading volumes per se, if you take a gross figure, are not showing a major diversion. But a sectoral composition or an individual composition thereof is concerned, it is certainly a matter of concern. Although I am neither a student nor a vivid follower of a technical analysis, but certainly I do feel that as far as my thinking head is concerned, I have to borrow it or bury it as far as the heads and shoulders as far as the market is concerned. Because one thing is very certain, that although the finance minister is on record saying it more than once, that the ensuing budget would be having many positive signals as far as the economy of our country is concerned. Let us hope for the best. But there goes the saying that while one is hoping for the best, one has to prepare for the worst. Because one has to take into consideration what sort of a resources or a wherewithal our central government is having at its disposal as far as the ensuing budget in the first week of February 2021 is concerned. Certainly, the intentions would be there, but the implementation would be a key. And one has to consider over here that given the complex nature of our national economy and growing role of the state governments vis-a-vis the implementation of economic policies is concerned, the political scenario which is prevailing at this moment is not conducive as far as the fastest implementation are concerned. One has to really see the connotation as far as the series of meetings in the first week of January 2021 is concerned. The minister at the central, especially for surface transport, Nitin Gadkari is having with not only the chief minister of our state, but also the influential leaders of the ruling party or a ruling component thereof. It is certainly an indication. People may be considering the political angle there too. Let me hasten to add, I am not discounting that particular factor, but there is every likelihood, the way in which the Nitin Gadkari functions, that he may be more concerned as far as the implementation of infrastructure projects in our country or in our state is concerned. Take it or club it with the farmers' agitations which is going on at Delhi for days together, especially the day at least at the day on which I am recording this video. Hopefully by the time you are seeing this video, that particular impasse or the passage would have been resolved. But otherwise, seeing these kinds of instances, the implementational hazards can certainly be witnessed over here. And if I merely make an announcement, but it doesn't get implemented, even otherwise it's a crime as far as the financial progress is concerned. And it would be much more severe crime, especially in a post-corona economy. Although my monthly GST collections for 3 consecutive months are showing an uptrend, one has to take note that its composition is withering to some extent. Certainly, the service sector economies are not showing the same pace at which they registered a growth. I do agree and note that certainly when a service sector was showing some number, especially after a prolonged complete closure of an economy, certainly that impact would not sustain as far as the subsequent months are concerned. But seeing that in addition to second wave of corona or a second nature of corona, which is limited in our country, one has to note that there are the instances of a bird flu cases getting noticed in 4 states of our country. There is a mention already that some sort of earthquake has been recorded at Andaman Nicobar at a Richter scale of 4.4. Let us hope such instances do not bring in a major earthquake or economic quake at a much higher Richter scale as far as our national economy is concerned. I am not sounding pessimistic, but one has to be very clear. By the time you hear this video, probably the major companies of our country might have disclosed or declared their December quarter results. Let us hope the sectors like FMCG, sectors like pharmaceutical, sectors like basic infrastructure show some good positive number, because that would certainly pave the way as far as our economic progress for the coming months are concerned. And going by the dictum that market discounts the future, probably such positive developments may negate the impact of corona and other related factors. But international economics and coupled with it the international politics would have to be also taken into consideration. Whether it is Nepal, whether it is news related to JACMA, or whether it is the 6th December or 6th January 2021 instances in America, or the second wave of corona as far as the European countries are concerned, certainly these are the political and economic developments which one has to take into consideration along with the ensuing budget in the first week of February 2021. And certainly such factors are beyond the control of any central government in our country or even across the world. And hopefully the major realignment, which is certainly foreseen by many analysts, may start materializing and the picture may become visually clear. Because one has to take it very clearly that although in the last week our Sensex was at the level of 48,800 almost, we must see that even in that particular rise of more than 680 points in a single day, all the companies have not grown in the same proportion. Of course, it never happens in a market. But even then, there are certain sectoral signals which need to be noted. One would have surely noticed that defense related stocks have registered a negative growth as far as that week is concerned. It is not against Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. It is not against BAL or a BDL or a Mazgaon. But if my major resources are getting sunk in that particular way, it may have some impact as far as the disinvestments are concerned. But one thing is very clear, that the way in which the consolidation is happening, it would have certainly its impact. And when I use the word impact, it will be positive as well as negative. So one thing is very sure, that the period from January to mid-February would be certainly a happening period, to put it that way, as far as our Indian market and investment fields are concerned. It is true not only for equity, but it is equally true for our banking and development. It is equally true for our mutual fund industry. It is equally true for our insurance industries as well. Because we have noticed the certain movements related to the life insurance companies as well as the general insurance companies of our country. The way in which their foreign partners are either enhancing the stakes or realigning their stakes, these particular process may get accentuated. And if they are able to conclude such transactions in a stipulated period of time, that may set a precedent as far as the other sectors are concerned. One movement we have already seen, that when we saw the Lakshmi Vilas Bank getting merged with the DBS of Singapore, and if it really goes through in a planned manner or a desired manner or as desired by our government or the regulatory agencies, that may seek another presence. Because certain cooperative sector banks are certainly started getting converted into a small finance bank. Shivalik Cooperative Bank is a classic example thereof. There is every likelihood that a concept like social stock exchange may start showing its symptom, at least of the initial development. And not only the environment in which our investment field is working, but even otherwise, the infrastructure with which it is working may undergo a change as well. Because all of us are aware that a discussion paper is already out which says that market infrastructure industries like stock exchange institutes like stock exchanges and depositories can have a different kind of their equity composition. And if one individual can go up to 49%, or if one individual foreign company can go up to 49%, the entire process of creating these particular institutes may happen. And if it really materializes, it may get transferred or transported to the pension industry as well. Then NPS or a CRA kind of a industry may see a different ball game altogether, because RFP for such institutes are already out. So certainly, not only from the period or the point as far as the Sensex movements are concerned, these periods are worth noting, and if not, worth watching as well, because they would have the impact not only in the medium and long term, but there is every likelihood that this particular impact may be short term as well. And if really the aviation sector goes a different change, because we have seen that Tata Group is seriously thinking of merging AirAsia with Vistara. They have taken up the matter with their foreign partners that either as a combination or in isolation they may bid for Air India. Jet Airways is seeing some sort of a revival. Under such circumstances, not only the physical infrastructure but the social infrastructure may also undergo a change. And if budget provisions are able to aid these kinds of the developments, certainly we are in for as far as the major happenings are concerned. Let us prepare ourselves in order to digest and most importantly act decisively before the time flies out from our hands. While wishing you the best for such developments and actions, one has to take a note and one has to have a relook as far as our own investment portfolios are concerned. Because unless and until our investment portfolios and our investment objectives are in line with these developments, we may not be able to reap the benefit thereof in a real terms. So let us hope that we all are able to shade our preferences and prejudices, and we are becoming more and more factual as far as the coming weeks of the investment field are concerned. Thank you very much.